It's on YouTube, by the way.
What is going on, guys? This is the PokeG Time podcast where we serve you up a cup of the hottest takes of what's going on in the Pokemon community. I'm NotShivam. We got Alex Hodges right over here, and we got CardKahuna, the legend, right here as well. What is going on this evening, guys?
Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it. We weren't sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So, for those guys who do not know, Yizzy Pokemon is not here. Actually, Yizzy Pokemon is right here. He has a cap on. He has a yellow shirt on. No, I'm just kidding. It's Alex Hodges. Yizzy's slacking again. He is out tonight. He is out tonight with friends at a birthday dinner, but this time he let me know on time, so I was able to get a substitute co-host right on time. But you know, he's not really a substitute. He's been a guest like 4 or 5 times now. He's basically family at this point. We got him here, and we got our special guest this evening, CardKahuna. So, lots of stuff has been going on, CardKahuna. What's been going on in your life?
Not much. You know, we just finished Collectors Con, which was amazing. That's a big thing that we're trying to build up. You know, you've been there since the beginning. You know, we're just trying to keep building up Collectors Con, bring as much hype to the Pokemon world as we could. We already have the sports thing already set up, but we really want to start spotlighting Pokemon a lot more. It was awesome. I mean, you guys did that box break and opened up some magic that we weren't ready to see, which was awesome.
Yeah, two triangle base set boxes that are one of them is going to be literally given away tomorrow with Going Twice and Pokeju on the Whatnot app. So lots of interesting stuff is happening on Whatnot. So we'll get right into it a little bit. Actually, we'll get into that a little bit later. But Alex, what's going on in your life, man? I know you just took some adorable Christmas pictures with your baby, but what else is going on in the card realm for you?
Yeah, we were playing Pokemon Baby Go tonight with Santa down at the mall. That was an interesting experience, but I got jitters now because I'm filling in for Yizzy. These are big shoes to fill. My lighting is already 1,000 times worse than Yizzy. I wish you didn't put that pressure on me, bro.
Man, but, I know you can deliver. I know you can deliver, so that's why I got you.
For real, I'm so happy we're finally talking about this because you saw how bad this was steaming out of me, this news about this first edition Shadowless box. So to finally be able to exhale and to talk about it is really exciting. And also getting able to talk to CardKahuna, who, I mean, needs no introduction, but I want to hear your story from your side tonight because you've done some legendary stuff in the community people may not know about. So let's get into that stuff because I want to hear about it from your perspective.
So Jacob,
so
tell everyone about a little bit who you are and kind of tell us like how you got into cards a little bit before we get right into the juicy details. But I really want to know what got you into card collecting, and just kind of walk us from there. Like walk us to where when you started to where you are now. How did you get to be so successful as you are now in the card community?
So I started collecting cards as a kid, Pokemon only. When I used to go to this place, it was called King's Games in New York, and it was like the spot. I actually started collecting Pokemon, but I see it in the background over there. But I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I used to go to like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, and it was like the hype. You know what I mean? Pokemon wasn't played so much. More, it was like just binders. You know, you trying to complete sets. But I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! At the card shop. And as a kid, I always loved it. And I would say I had to have been between the age of like from 11 to 13 is when I was like hard into it as a kid. And then after that, I fell out of it. And in 2014, once I got my first real job and I started making some money, I started to invest in big ticket items. I bought a bunch of first edition boxes, and I never paid more than maybe, I think the one I bought from Dave and Adams for like $14,000 was the highest I've ever paid for a first edition box, and this was all in 2014. So I bought it just because of the significance of it in my life. I knew that the prices were going to eventually go up because the Charizard was costing right around the same amount as the box. And it always goes that way. The box is always going to be more expensive than the card.
Sure.
Right. It's always going to be that. It doesn't matter if it's a PSA 10, the box will always be more expensive. So I started buying these boxes. And actually, that box I recently sold. I sold it to the German guys, Standard Skill and Lofty.
Yeah.
I actually flew out there for the box break. You know, you're always shaking before someone opens up one of your boxes these days. You know, even though you had it for years, and I was in the background sweating over there. Like, I hope they don't open up this box and it ends up turning into what's those guys' name? Those big money,
Dumb money
guys. I was like, oh, don't do this to me. I was like, don't turn me into this dumb money thing, man. You know, but I actually took 2 boxes with me. So I took that one and I took a backup one just in case, like, so I took 2 of my first edition boxes with me out to Germany, and I had a backup one just in case that one. We already planned it out between us. Like, if you guys happen to open this box, we're gonna play it off like a joke if it's not what we want in there, and I'll hand you guys the second box. So that was a success. They put on such an amazing production over there, and that sale I did with them was also the record-breaking sale. At the time, it's still till now, it's the highest sold first edition box that ever happened. Yeah, 450,000, and then they also had to pay like another 80 grand in taxes. So the total cost for them was like around 530,000 for that first edition box. But I sold it to them a long time ago. I sold it to them when Logan Paul was doing his first box break. Right after that hype, when Pokemon was at like the peak, is when I sold to them. But then because they paid me for it and everything, and then once it was the whole COVID thing restricted us from sending the box there, and they didn't want it to be done through any type of postal service. They wanted me to hand deliver it. So finally, like it was in August is when they did the box break, and it was a success. They put on a great show. Lofty is an amazing guy, and so is Standard Skill. They put on an amazing production. I haven't seen a better production for a first edition box yet. I mean, Logan Paul is amazing. He does a great job, but he does it around like his table. You know, they put on a show for Germany.
Like a studio audience, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a studio. They did it in a actual news place. So it was like televised. They did a great job. Unfortunately, though, you know, it's the pick of the draw. They didn't pull a Charizard. They pulled everything but. Not only that, it was a Red Cheeks box. There was so many gray stamps. There was tons of error cards. It was the perfect box. And the craziest part is when they opened up the box, they shuffled the packs. People were getting nervous because they pulled the first 7 hollows quick, and the last 5 packs were 5 hollows. And they were like, this can't be possible. And they're talking to me like in the background, how's this possible? What if these? And I looked at them and I was like, guys, full money refund if those last 5 packs don't have a hollow in every single one.
Yeah.
And go ahead. They opened up the last 5 packs. They had like these little Pokeballs that they were choosing the names out of for everyone who bought a pack. And every pack had a hollow. It got down to the last pack and everyone was like ready to go crazy because they were sure it's going to be the Charizard because 11 hollows pulled, no Zard, and no Char. But they got a Venusaur, they got a Blastoise, 2 Chanseys, couple. They pulled some good stuff. Just unfortunately, you know how it is. I mean, also the dumb money box as well, right? No Charizard in there either.
None. I was there in Vegas. There wasn't any.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What people sleep on so much, though, is that Chansey. If you can fade the Poliwrath, the Ninetales, and get the Chansey 3 times, if you get that PSA 10, you are dialed in.
Yeah, but it's so hard. It's so hard to get. It's
so hard, but
forget about Chansey. It's so hard to get a PSA 10, period, these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got a sub back from... Yeah, I just got a sub back from PSA, and I sent like maybe, I'm looking at them now, maybe like 40 cards. I got back like 8 PSA 10s only out of 40 cards, which is amazing. You know, I was hyped, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like most PSA 9s today are basically what would be PSA 10s literally a year and a half ago. So it's
crazy.
it's so crazy how certain standards have changed. It's just as worse with CGC as well, and it wouldn't surprise me with Beckett either. Yeah, I mean,
No,
moving.
Beckett, it's almost impossible to get a pristine 10.
No,
I mean,
it's so
that's
tough.
like, yeah.
Yeah, unlikely.
I mean, also the price difference between a 9 and a 10 is also ridiculous. I mean, PWCC just had that auction this past weekend. They had a 9 and a 10 in auction. The 9 sold for $18,000 and the 10 sold for $288,000. I mean, it shouldn't be a gap like that. I think
Agreed.
that's ridiculous as well.
But at the same time, it just signifies that the 9s are. It's kind of like where we were back in 2019 and 2018, where 7, 8s, and 9s were significantly undervalued when they were on the open marketplace, and 10s were, outrageously high. And so like it creates a sort of opportunity again for people to actually buy back into a really good place as far as PSA 9s go for Pokemon cards in particular. Like I know Beckett, like Yizzy.
Yeah.
I
Yizzy.
always.
Oh, go ahead.
I always think that there's this no man's land with Pokemon collecting, right? The guy that can buy an $18,000 card and the guy that can buy a $188,000 card, if you get into that danger zone with a PSA 9, if your PSA 9 is at 50,000, 60,000, then that guy's going to just jump to 288 every time. The 18,000 guy, the guy that can put that money in there is a big difference between 18 and 288. Yeah. There's not, in terms of disposable income, if I'm going to, am I going to get the $25,000 PSA 9 Gold Star Ray, or am I going to get the 50,000, PSA 10? I'm going to hop on the 10 every time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's that weird, and I see this in sports as well, where it's like you almost have to have that distance. Otherwise, your buyer's the same guy, and he only wants the 10. It's a really weird spot with 9s right now.
Yeah, 9s are an issue. I think these days, I've been collecting sorry about that. Someone called me. I've been collecting for a little while, and the gray spot between 9s and 10s wasn't always like this. This is just a recent thing where people it's either 10 or go home. You know what I mean? Which is
kind of unfortunate in a way, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like if you look at 9, like in today's state, like if we look at 9s today, like I said before, they would be 10s, previously in the past. Like it's just crazy. I mean, like I'm starting to like talk to more and more collectors out there. They're like, yeah, I'm more comfortable with buying a 9 because the difference between a 9 and 10 isn't that much different. And so like, yeah, I mean, I totally see what Alex is saying, but speaking of your whole incident at Germany and kind of getting nervous about that, Alex kind of had a situation similar to that when he was in New York City with his base box, and he actually had a piece of styrofoam in a base set pack.
Wait, can we do show and tell right now on this?
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
We had a live audience. It wasn't the first dead box, but we did have the live audience, and we were kicking off Comic-Con with DJ Ski. So there was a lot of pressure on this opening, and this happens in pack 11. So I get this Venusaur pack, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this pack almost feels like there's double the cards. And there's a piece of styrofoam
wrapping the card?
Inside the pack. There's this piece of styrofoam. And I'm sitting there going, we just got dumb moneyed. Rip. Or, this is a resealed box. This is something's going on here. And
it was just QC.
We end up posting this to Instagram Reels and to TikTok. And like with the power of the internet, someone who actually worked at the paper printing company goes, hey, so when you would at the end of a roll of cards, you would have this little piece of styrofoam that would actually break up the different cards. What you pulled is from the factory. And to make it even funnier, we had a Charizard 2 packs later, because the fear at that point, because I did a rip test, the cards are real. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's resealed, and for whatever reason, the styrofoam fell in. We get the Charizard 3 packs later, and I'm just like,
and
what?
Then there's no doubt.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was like the most nerve-wracking live experience I've ever had in my life. Like, it's made talking to you guys today a walk in the park just because of that
Yeah, no,
temporary.
in Germany. I'll tell you, when I got there, I mean, I'm still tight with them. We're cool and everything, but I'll tell you, when that Charizard wasn't pulled, they were all like shocked. And
Yeah.
there was rumors going around that the box might not have been real. But then I sat down with them face to face, and I was like, "Listen, guys, there's no chance in the world that you have a box with 12 hollows, red cheeks, gray stamps. It doesn't work. There's no way that I would be able to swap a pack out, because maybe the heavy pack that I'm swapping out, maybe I'm putting in a Charizard. You know what I mean? There's ways to, once you open up that box. Before you open up the box, you never know, right? But once you open up that box and you start ripping open packs, it's clear as day if something's resealed or not resealed. I mean, we've seen it even with Murph, with Charizard King.
Yeah.
You know, he's
numerous
opened
amount
up
of
a
times.
box live, and it was like, whoa, you know, and the box looked completely real. I mean, peak test, everything passes. There's nothing more you could do.
Shout out to Charizard
But
King.
shout out Charizard King, that's my man. But back to yeah. So 2014, buying up a bunch of stuff. I collected. I currently have 3 PSA 10 Charizards
Whoa.
left. I used to have 4. I traded one to a good friend of mine, Sasha. So just collecting these things. I don't consider myself a Pokemon expert at all. Like I'm not. Obviously, it's been caught on video of me making mistakes because I've had a lot of different types of first edition boxes, with me making a mistake and someone asking me, "What's the hit card in that box?" And I was like, "Oh, I think it's a Lugia," but I got killed on the internet for that one right there. I mean, I don't consider myself an expert. I love it. I collect it. I'm an investor in it. So just collecting, and then I got in later on. I love sports, love watching sports. Later on, I got into the sports cards thing, and I went into it really hard, like in towards the end of 2019. Some humongous cards. Nowhere close to the really big people in the sports card industry, but I have some beautiful pieces myself. And then one of my best friends calls me up one day, Pokeju. You know, Michael's one of my closest friends.
Legend.
I consider him like a brother, legend. He hits me up one day and he's like, "Jacob, I think I have something, but I'm not really sure." And I was like, "Talk to me, man." He's like, "I think I found a sealed case of first edition boxes." When you hear something like that, you're like, "Dude, the guy's probably trying to scam us. There's no way." And you know, we worked on it for months with this guy. He posted it on, and he posted it on eBay. This guy is like,
I remember
this guy. So I'll tell you a little background on this guy. Really nice guy, you know, really nice guy. But he's like from He's like a farmer in Canada, and he bought a house, and in the attic there was a bunch of these boxes.
God.
There was a bunch of these sealed cases. So we bought them off of. So first thing we did is we had him open one of the sealed cases up. It wasn't a first edition one. We thought inside the box was just a regular base set. He opens them. So we have him open one up on FaceTime because we want to make sure what's inside. So we know there's one that says first edition, and then there's 2 more. So we're like, all right, we'll take all 3. Let's open one up. We'll open one up with you. Let's see what's inside this box. Rips open the box live with us, starts pulling out the boxes, and I'm like, holy shit, those aren't base set. They were all shadowless. It was a full case of shadowless boxes. And that's when I was like, all right, stop. Ship me. So we worked out a price between me and him. I'm not going to really talk about how much I paid for it. We worked out a price for everything he owned. And obviously I didn't pay him right away. You know, I had my lawyer write up a contract, sent him the contract, pay on delivery, you know, as soon as I get it. we received the case. PokeJew wasn't able to be there for the whole excursion. I wish he was. But so I received this case, and it was. I have a video with some guy. His name is Millie Pops. If you guys want to see it on YouTube, like how everything went down.
Mm-hmm.
We received this case. The FedEx thing was crazy. You know, we're tracking it. All of a sudden, you can't track it. It's gone.
Worst.
We went to the facility to pick it up in person. The facility was like, we can't find the box in the back. We can't find your box in the back. Then they're like, oh my God, it's on a truck right now heading towards you to the address that you put the receive. We fly to the address. We're standing there. As soon as we get out of the car, I see the FedEx truck. I run to the FedEx truck, grab it, go to the back. And just, I've seen sealed cases before. You know, there's just once I held it in my hand, I was like, holy shit, you know, this is really happening right now. I'm about to make history. I've never seen, there's no one else that has one. I mean, what's his name? Gary has a case, but he opened it up and sold 2 boxes out of it. So there's no sealed case out there, you know,
You guys hear that, right?
Ever showed it.
So like essentially there's been a lot of rumors that have been going around since yesterday saying that Gary still has a case. And I'm like, there's no way. If Gary still had a sealed case today, we would have saw it by now.
Yeah, I think it would have gotten closer to the...
Yeah, exactly. Like I know Gary well enough to where I would without a doubt say with 100% confidence we would have saw a picture of it already. So you guys heard that here.
He had one. He had one.
Yeah.
He opened it up though. Yeah, he had one. He opened it up. So then it's just the weight was perfect. The box was perfect. And then that's when we took it to a place that authenticates things. Their authentication process is ridiculous. You give it to them, and the guy who authenticates it is a complete professional on taping, on actual tape, on cardboard, and they run it through an X-ray machine. Because now they're liable. Once they wrap that box, they instantly take full liability of what's inside the box, which is awesome for an investor, right? Like the box is wrapped, God forbid, whatever it is, it's not on me. You got to go see BBCE, because if they wouldn't have wrapped it, it would have been way harder to sell. So he looked at me and he's like, this tape has been, the tape that's on the box has been discontinued for about 12 years. He's like, this tape isn't on the market anymore, the type of tape that it is. And you know, we were there for a couple hours, and then Jamil actually introduced me to Matt. That was his involvement in the whole thing. He introduced me to Matt, and me and Shine connected. He introduced me to Shine. Me and him connected right away. He's such an awesome guy. For anyone who doesn't really know him, this guy is, besides for being a legend and having the #1 collection in the world in my eyes, I think go toe to toe with anyone in the world with his collection.
Yeah, we were about to have him. But CardKahuna calls me up earlier today saying like, "Hey, is Matt gonna be part of the podcast?" I said, "No," and he's like, "Man, that would have been awesome to have him on here." I said, "Yeah." It's just like it's one of those situations where it's like I would have loved to have him on, but I don't have that kind of personal relationship with him yet, and I would like to develop that kind of relationship. It's just that I don't like asking people to do something unless like I actually know them, because like sometimes
Right.
I don't know how some people are when you ask them something, especially with something like that kind of big, like something that big. It was really tough, but hearing that from you, that's really awesome, man.
Yeah, no, he's hands down one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Like, he is amazing of a person. He amazing soul is what he is, and you know what? I think he's the only person on the planet that would have been able to do what he did with that box. There's no one else in the world, I personally think, that would have been able to make that happen the way he did, because, the value that he sold it at puts the boxes inside of that case at about $600,000 a box.
Yeah, about
if you average it out,
something thousand. Yeah.
yeah, 580 something thousand a box. And, Pokemon isn't like sports. So in sports, when you have a sealed case of something, it's worth a lot more per box than it is loose boxes. Reason being is because with sports cards, they put a case hit in every case, meaning one of these boxes inside the case has a case hit, which,
Something
for
like
example,
Weiss.
like Prism basketball, for example, has in one of those 12 boxes inside the case, there's a gold number to 10. There's one card in that case. So there's incentive to sealed cases. You know, in this case, with Pokemon, there's no incentive. You open up that box and you rip them all open. It's every box is going to be just about the same. But it being the only one on the planet is something that anyone would have. And you know what? It landed in the person's hands who deserved it most, because without Logan Paul, would any of us been able to do what we did in the past 2 years, year and a half since COVID started? There's
No,
no
honestly.
shot. None of us would have been able to do that at all without, Logan Paul was basically our Moses, and he parted the sea for us to all be where we're at today.
Yeah.
And as much as some people don't want to admit it, that's the truth. And so we get the box, we get it authenticated. I meet Shine. We make history right there. We get it wrapped, authenticated. PokeJew had the most to do with the whole situation. He connected me with the person who I bought it from, which the gratitude I have for him to choose me out of anyone to be the one to buy the case was amazing. And sold it to Shine for 2.7 million. And the guy's a magician. He went out and did the biggest deal that Pokemon will ever see for at least a few years.
Yeah.
With selling it at 3.5 million. I mean, the guy did a great job. I mean, hands down to him, he's my mentor.
That's 11 boxes. That's 11 boxes of first edition Shadowless boxes. Like, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but like,
damn, I had a lot. I thought I had a lot. I have three of them. I sold one. I got two left. I thought I was like, holy cow, I got three. This guy Logan Paul has all of them.
Yeah. So like,
I was gonna say, like,
yeah.
As a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, Logan really pulled a Seto Kaiba. He really showed up to Yugi's grandpa's shop, and he ripped up Blue Eyes. Like, he has, cornered the market effectively. At least as much as we know, there could be some guy in Chicago who's got a factory full of them. Who knows?
Who knows?
The Canadian
That's the crazy
addict
thing
situation.
is no one knows. I get these messages to my Instagram daily, like, hey, I have this, and I answer every single one.
You do.
Every single one, because you never know. Like, this guy, the poor guy that, you know what, I'm really happy because I changed his life. The guy who I bought the box, I paid him an amount. It was 7 figures, but I paid him an amount that completely changed his life. He was about to just put it on eBay and let it go on auction.
I remember seeing it.
Selling it for nothing. He would have got like $75,000, $80,000. You know what I mean? And I offered him. I gave him an amount of money that changed his life. It's not like a lot of people out there are saying, oh, he bought it, he ripped this guy off, he bought it for $100,000. It's not the case at all. I paid 7 figures for the box. And the kid started crying when he saw the wire. And the kid started crying when he saw the wire hit his account, and he was shocked. And he completely trusted us because he shipped me all these things. He shipped me these cases without any payment, without anything.
Wow.
We grew a connection over the phone. I spoke to him a lot of times. He shipped me because I wasn't going to take the risk of, I know who I am, right? Once I received it, I know who I am. Once I see what I got and it's real, I'm going to pay him, but he completely was out in the blue. He shipped me everything, no money, no down payment, nothing at all. And the same day I received it was the same day he got paid, and we got on FaceTime, and him, his wife, his mom, they were all crying. Like they were so happy. It was honestly heartwarming.
To your point earlier, I mean, what people tend to do is reverse engineer situations. And what I mean by that is if Logan buys, a Charizard and it goes up, to 350,000, he, makes 100,000 on pen and paper or whatever. People go, he's a genius. He planned that, it was all strategic. But when people lose their asses like they have for the last year, everybody that bought in May and bought in June, no one calls out the fact that they lost a ton of money, aka there is a ton of risk in whaling for shiny cardboard.
Yeah,
There is
there's a ton of
so
it. There's a
much.
ton.
Like you and Mike could have lost 7 figures on that purchase. It wasn't like it was guaranteed. Oh, it's going to go to the moon forever, and oh, this is always going to be it. The market
That's
could have
why I
been at the
moved it right
ceiling
away.
then. Yeah.
That's really the reason. Usually, every I buy, I like to sulk in. Like even cards that I buy, things that I buy, I like to sulk it in. So most of the time when I make a big purchase, my mind isn't okay. I'm buying this now. Let me find someone to sell it to.
Right.
99% of the time I buy things, I like it, I'll hold on to it, and I'll enjoy it. Even just wake up in the morning, look at it. Most of my 90% of my assets are in safety deposit boxes. I'll take a trip to the bank every once in a while, just open up my box and enjoy what I have in there and look at my stuff and say this is fucking awesome, and really enjoy it. But this one situation, I because of the risk reward, once it was wrapped, I just really wanted to move it. It wasn't and I'll be completely honest, even if I didn't move it and had it wrapped and held onto it, I would have never been able to do what Shine did. That's why a lot of people are also messaging me like, "Oh, wow, look at that. You sold it to him for 2.7. He sold it for 3.5 a few months later. Don't you feel like you lost out on a lot?" But the truth is, I would have never been able to do that.
Yeah.
I would
Right.
have never
Right.
been able to make that sale. He's a magician and he's an otter and he could do it. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean,
He's
like
the
at
one
the end,
person in the world that could really do that. I think even in auction, it doesn't go for that.
No, never.
Even
no,
if you put it in an auction, it just doesn't go for that.
no,
That's something that there's only certain people in the world that could do. And with him being one of those people and maybe the only one is how he did it. And that's why he deserves it. He
yeah, it's
deserves
how you
all the
sell it too.
gratitude and all the good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Because like you can
100%.
like I notice sellers. I mean, we're gonna talk about Whatnot, but like I notice sellers on Whatnot all the time, and the vast majority of people on Whatnot have the same kind of product. But the ones that excel at selling, the ones that are successful are the ones that know how to sell.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy, like from the way you're talking about, it sounds like Mike just knows how to sell. He could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah. Yeah. But not only that, but the pieces that he gets are very unique. He
Mm.
like for example, he owns the 3-man logo man. Like it's a one of one. It's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James logo man
Whoa.
card.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
hands down, that could be one of the most expensive. That could be the most expensive card in the world. And that's a piece that he structured in order for him to be able to grab something like that is just insane. It's what he's good at, and God bless him. And that's the answer that I have to everyone who keeps telling me you could have sold it for more. I couldn't, and even if I could, I'm happy that I was able to meet him and do that with him, and for him to get to where he got to with that box.
So my question, I wish he was here for this, but like, I guess my question to you would be like, what made him want to buy that case from you?
So I was a little bit of a car salesman talking to him because he's not a Pokemon guy, right? So
Right.
for him to buy something like that, it took a little bit, of a lot of back and forth, a lot of phone conversations, a lot of and the truth is he was the only person I offered it to.
Mm.
I was working with the guy who owns the shop in Florida, and he introduced me to him, and it was a lot of back and forth, and the one thing that he wanted was, until I make a decision, can you please not share this information with anyone else. And 100% I gave him my word. But I was a little bit of a car salesman. It did take me a lot of convincing. Me making that sale 2 or 3 weeks before helped a lot. Because when I received that box maybe 3 weeks earlier is when I sold the first edition box to the guys in Germany. And shout out to iPhone Elite on Instagram. He's my
cool
partner.
Dude. He's a cool
He
dude.
was my partner. That he's like a brother to me, literally. Like, if they, PokeJew's one of my best friends, but Alex iPhone Elite and is
literally
is like a brother to me.
I met him up in Vegas, and then like as soon as I came back, he sends me a DM's like, "Hey, if you ever want like cool shoes or like anything related to that, I'll hook you up."
There's no one. This guy's heart is so big. If I tell you,
free stuff,
I'll start pulling out boxes and boxes of shoes. It's like every time he's like, "Jacob, do you need these new Yeezys?" And I'm like, "No, Alex." And he's like, "Come downstairs. I'm outside your house." And
he did the same thing with Don Diego. He did the same thing with Don Diego. He sent Don Diego a bunch of shoes. And I'm like, man, this dude is too nice.
Yeah, he is. That's
really
just
nice
how he is. And he does it for nothing. Like, he doesn't want anything from you. If he likes you, and thank God he's able to do it. He's doing really well in his life, and with all his projects, me and him are partners on a bunch of things. Alex iPhone Elite on Instagram is amazing. He's another one. I try to keep my circle really small, but this guy is gem mint. You know what I mean? He's amazing. So he was my partner. We were partners on one of the first edition boxes, which was that one. So me making that $450,000 sale a couple weeks prior really helped towards the sale of the box, because my point of moving the box, my main point is I moved it for 2.7. My main point was there's 6 boxes in here. I'm willing to give it to you for the price of per box.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not adding a premium of it being a sealed case, right? I'm just moving it to you at $450,000 a box, right? So the way I explained it to him was, you go out and make that money on it being a premium of it being the only one wrapped, which is what he did, right? Granted, right after that happened, the box went down in price, right? The boxes started selling for like 300, 330. Like the box price went down. I mean, PWCC just killed it in the not last auction, but the one before. We just got another monster sale of 433,000
for a very, very mint first edition Shadowless base box.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
433,000. I mean, I was one of the bidders, but I had to stop. I was one of the bidders on the Shadowless box this past one, and out of nowhere it just went. I thought I was gonna win it for the cheap. I was like, damn, no, maybe I don't think it's Shadowless. I might steal this one for like 15K. And all of a sudden it went into the next part, and it just blasted off like 93,000, which is good for me because we have a bunch of those. So that was a great for me as well, But with Whatnot also, I sold a lot of things. They're a great company. I sold them lots of boxes through time. Yeah, so that's just really my background in Pokemon. 2014, I started collecting. I started buying big ticket items. Once you know what it is. It's once I started having money to be able to purchase these things is when I was able to start doing it. Which, I don't think there's anything like that. Like me, I'm not a firm believer in MetaZoo at all. I'm with my man Charizard King on that one because there's no nostalgia to it. You know what I mean? Me and him had a lot of conversations, and he's the one who changed my mind. I was about to buy a lot of MetaZoo things, and personally, he's the one who changed my mind. He's like, Jacob, people are buying this for the hype. He's like, where's it going? You're not going into card shops like when we were kids. I'm sure you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, I was there.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, who wasn't? It was like the coolest thing. And at the same time, while you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I used to watch Pokemon on TV. So you're buying the thing to try to complete your folders. That's what it was. So there was a hype, and now we're all older, and we're able to buy these items. I'm sure even you, when you bought your first edition Charizard, how happy were you when
Oh,
you
dude, I
were
was.
able to buy that?
Oh man, I didn't even buy it. I traded up to it. I traded up to it.
Yeah,
That's a
but
story in itself. But I mean, dude, I
that's a
showcase that
life
card
changing.
every day.
Yeah, because it's a life changing thing. It's something that you always want, and finally you got to the point in your life where you were able to do it. You know, people always ask me like, "Oh, yeah, you're just dumping all the Pokemon," but I'm really not, because maybe I'll bring it down to where I have one first edition PSA 10 and one first edition box, but that one and one is never going to leave my possession. God willing, when I have kids, I'm going to give it to them,
Hmm.
and hopefully they don't open it. But that's something that I'm going to keep forever.
I
It's
like
not.
Yeah, I like what you just said, because whenever I talk to people about MetaZoo, it's as though they have the Wolf of Wall Street MetaZoo script that they have to read. They go,
Yeah,
these IPs are nostalgic because they're cryptids. It's nostalgic because it's Wolfman and everyone's heard of Mothman and everyone's heard of Bigfoot. And as a marketing director at a company, my first response is recognizability, aka the Charmin Bears, and nostalgia, aka Sonic the Hedgehog, are totally different. I don't
totally different. I'm
I
I'm
don't
in marketing as
I
well.
don't I don't
So
see the Michelin Man and go, oh, one time in third grade when I saw the Michelin Man, it just brings me right back, doesn't it? You sit there and you see Sonic the Hedgehog and you remember a key memory from 7 years old, and this character that eats chili dogs, and with Charmin, with Bigfoot, with Nessie, with all the stuff. It's like, we know what it is. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that we have these emotions tethered to their presence on cards. And like, I've tried to have this conversation with so many friends, but again, they return to the Wolf of Wall Street MetaZoo script of it's nostalgic, it's this, it's that, it's the
I
next
don't
big
think it's.
thing.
But the thing is, the people who got into it are looking at it as a big money ticket, right?
Right.
If and that's what it is. I mean, the problem is you're not getting 10-year-olds buying
No.
MetaZoo. It's just not possible. You know why? More importantly than everything, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
You can't afford it. When we were 10 years old and we were going to the card shop, 11 years old, it was $3 a pack, $2.50 a pack, $4 a pack. We were buying that stuff. We were able to do it. These days, like we're talking about now, and don't take this the wrong way, like when grown men are buying these things, this is Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that are way different, because when we were kids, we did this, right?
Right.
So we're buying it now because we could afford it, we could do it, we love it. Some of us have kids who we want to show and show them our past. With something like MetaZoo, if it was, there you go. You know what I mean? If it was children being able to go and buy MetaZoo packs and play the game, then I would say, you know what, this thing might pop. Like me, for example, I invested a lot of money in Fortnite cards. I have cases upon cases in my storage unit of Fortnite cards. Cases. I did this because these kids who are playing Fortnite right now are one day going to be grown men,
Mm.
right? And this game is not dying, right? They're
I'm still
they're
playing
they're
it.
they're pushing it. I'm still playing it too. I have my gaming setup right behind
Oh,
me,
yo, we need to
right,
play
right
then.
behind the camera.
We need to play
Oh,
then.
for sure. I'm more into Warzone these days, but
Yeah, I was
for
gonna say, thank God they don't make Apex Legends cards. I'd be in trouble.
yeah. So I bought cases of first edition Fortnite box cases. And when I mean cases, you, Shivam, I'm not. I bought cases of this stuff
Yeah,
because I
this
truly
guy is
believe.
business.
I truly believe that sometime in the future that these things are going to pop. I mean, look, some of them are some of the Black Knight. Some for $17,000. That's not play money right there. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
In this card industry, when you say $10,000 to someone in the card industry, it sounds like chump change, like, oh, 10 grand. Dude, $10,000 is a lot of money.
Agree.
It's a lot of money. People don't understand that. Like when we're moving pieces of cardboard, for like, certain cards, that are like $50,000. It's just insane. You know what I mean? That because it's real money. It's real deal money. All these little things. And in the future, I think that Fortnite, me, I'm a true believer that eventually it's gonna pop. I mean, if it's selling for 17 grand now, what's it gonna sell for in 10 years when the kid who's playing it is able to afford it? You know what I mean?
To your point too, how did we hear about Pokemon? There's a 3-prong approach. There's toys, there's video games, and if you miss all those, there's a TV show on the exact channel.
A manga.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Same thing. Fortnite. I mean, look, they have one of the biggest video games ever that's probably more played than any show is watched. So they almost kind of circumvented that whole discovery funnel because it's free. It's a literal free game. It's one of the most popular games. And it's on Twitch, YouTube. It's on, dude, every other TikTok clip right now is a Fortnite clip of some guy building at light speed and just, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I watch it and I don't even play the game. It's sick.
On top of that, every game.
Last kill trick shot.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, every game has kind of emulated what Fortnite has done with the whole battle pass system. So I mean, Fortnite's doing their thing, man. I think every kid loves Fortnite. Like I talk to kids all the time, and I had a conversation with a kid the other day between Pokemon and Fortnite, and the kid would not shut up about Fortnite, and so it was. I totally see it. But moving on to our next point, because honestly, I mean, we could talk about this all day. We could talk about this all night, but obviously we don't have that kind of time because I just love hearing Jacob talk about this kind of stuff, even though like he's probably repeated the same story twice or 3 times already to me. It's just I sit there with my jaw dropped whenever he says this stuff because it's just crazy. But we're gonna talk about what's happening on Christmas. So Alex, I want you to.
God.
Alex, I want you to kind of like lead the way on that because you hit me up. You're like, Shiv, I'm kind of glad you want me on the podcast because I got some big news I can't share with you just yet, but it's huge. It's huge.
There's a couple big things happening on Christmas, man. Christmas is Pokemon Day. It's not even Christmas Day no more. It's Pokemon Day on Christmas. I mean, you're about to tell what you're gonna do, and then we already know what the other thing is.
Yeah. So Alex, kind of like let us in what's actually happening here. Let us know what you can say. Obviously, there's stuff that you probably can't say, but fill us in.
No, I mean we're set. So I've been talking with John from Whatnot, for a long time in a casual way.
Shout out to John. John's a freaking man. I love John.
Yeah, shout out to the guy behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard.
The Wizard of Whatnot. So him and I are homies, like on some like we'll just text about dumb things, like we'll just talk smack about people to each other just for fun, like. And he's just like, it was like 11:30 on a Sunday night, and I'm just like wrapping up after a long day, and he's like, "Bro, you're not gonna believe this," and I'm like, "What am I not gonna believe?" And that's when he told me what was happening, and a lot of unbelievable things have happened at Whatnot, like the fact that we sold base set unlimited packs for $4. That was smoke come out of your ears.
You broke
nutty.
Whatnot. You broke
I mean, that was so cool that people thought it was fake. I mean, something is nuts when people literally are like, "This is fake. It can't be real. There's no way it's real," because it's just incomprehensible, the gravity of it. And so I thought to myself, like, I honestly, like, low key was like, Danny, I was like, we just did the cool thing for Pokemon of the year. Look, we had 3,000 live concurrent viewers that broke the Whatnot record. Nothing else is coming in 2021 that could top what we just did because it was so democratic.
Psych.
Kids got packs for $4, and John calls me and goes, "Alex, you're a loser. No one's going to care about that in 2 weeks because Logan Paul is giving away 36 first edition base packs on a stream." And the first thing I said was, "I hope your app's going to be okay under the weight of that."
That's what I said. I was talking to PokeJew today, and when we saw the news, and I'm like, Michael, there's going to be 1 million people on the app watching that stream. I mean, all you have to do is what? You have to follow Logan Paul and be in the stream. There's going to be there's going to be people who are out buying phones right now, like with
there's people.
Are you breaking up, Shiv?
Yeah, I'm breaking up a bit.
Okay.
It might be me.
Oh, there you go. We got you.
what I was saying is that what's crazy is that there's a lot of people that were hating on Logan Paul for this entire situation that happened, last fall, that are now doing all of this. They're getting the app, they're following Logan Paul, and now they're going to be trying, this Saturday just to get a free pack. It's kind of funny in a way.
The thing is, you couldn't hate on for last fall, because the truth of the matter is, it wasn't in his hands. He put the packs up on auction. He can't control what people are paying. If the packs would have sold for $6,000 a pack, Logan would have still did the same box break. I mean, he put the packs out on auction, and what people wanted to pay is what it sold for. That's the thing with auction. You can't. It's not like he went out and was like, "I'm doing a box break. If you don't want to pay $36,000 a pack, then you can't be part of it." He put it out on Golden and let it go for whatever it went for. It was out of anyone's control what those packs went for. But that's amazing. He's given out a whole box of first edition. I mean, after just spending $3.5 million on a case, he's giving away a box. That's nutty.
My whole thing is, this year has almost been like one long slow-mo I told you so, where Shiv and I watched the Pokemon market just like you did rise way before Logan got here. People that turned their blinders on when Logan got into the space go, "Oh, the space is rising because of Logan Paul." No. I saw, meanwhile, my PSA 9 first edition Shining Zard go from 1,500 to 6,500 before Logan Paul ever touched a card, before he ever posted on Instagram or did anything.
Was popping.
We all saw it coming, and then people saw Logan and they said, "Oh, he's the reason this is happening. Influencers are the reason this is happening." And we're like, no, there's a lot of collectors out here that are buying this stuff. And then you enter into these conversations about, influencers made product expensive and they made product scarce. And it's like, it was scarce and it was getting expensive before they got here. If you actually buy this stuff, you would know this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our wallets were hurting way before Logan was here. And a lot of people realize that. Like, Logan's premium, when he did the first box break, look, after October 2020, there was a 2 or 3 week eBay spike where a PSA 6 Charizard doubled to, $800. But that lasted 3 weeks. It's not this whole people thinking that Logan came in and then all of a sudden a $500 Charizard is $50,000.
It was super quick. Like, there was a brief moment where a PSA 10 Unlimited Charizard was the same price as a PSA 10 Gold Star Rayquaza. Let that sink in.
That's bananas. No, but my whole thing with this is Shiv, you and I, back in November and December, sat there and said, this is a supply issue. We have these crazy shipping logistical problems international. They can't print enough to meet demand, and look what happened. Everyone that said influencers are to blame, those influencers did not change anything about their content. Nothing changed. But Pokemon printed more, and what happened? Fusion Strike is $85 a box. Chilling Rain is $84 a box. Battle Styles is $80 a box. And influencers are still doing their thing. So apparently it wasn't actually influencers. It was just that exact supply and demand thing you and I were discussing. And Vintage retraced as well. So it's like, at the end of the day, this whole year has just felt like one really long week of us trying to convey like the anger being misguided and just being honestly kind of in a gatekeeping way to new people entering the hobby. I'm sorry, I'm not an LP fan. I don't watch the content. He was like a generation below me, so I never watched it. But am I going to question his dedication when he's got a Squirtle tattoo? He had a Squirtle tattoo before prices were popping off.
That's what I was about to say. So I said this in the beginning, that he was Moses and part of the sea. But the reason why I said that is not because I think that Logan Paul, because like you said, before Logan Paul, these cards were going for more money than they were.
Yeah.
Logan Paul did, it was already inflating. The thing that Logan Paul did was he brought, which I'm friends with a lot of very, very hardcore, true Pokemon collectors that are against this in some way. But Logan Paul brought investors, people who don't give a crap about anything. They do it in sports cards, they do it in comic books, they do it in everything collectible, into the Pokemon world, where these people started dropping bank on cards. They started dropping a lot of money on cards, which brought the value up for people like me who already owned the cards. You know what I'm saying? At the peak, I was able to sell a PSA 10 Venusaur for $30,000. Like
wow.
Like I broke up my big three because I couldn't say no. And guess what? I just bought one a few weeks ago to put my 3 PSA 10s back together for like 12. You know what I'm saying? It was, but because of that, I was able to sell a first edition Venusaur for 30 grand. Who would have ever been able to do? And it only, he brought in from true collectors. PSA 9 Shining Charizard, you wouldn't sell it for less than for less than that. So for it to be $6,500 makes sense, but for it to pop up to $17,000,
right,
is a little it's crazy, because
definitely,
now he brought money into the hobby. It's not that he was the reason. It's his enlightenment into doing something that he loves, because he loves Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
He's bought packs off of Michael Pokeju where he opened them up live. He paid cash for he like paid money for those packs for himself to open up, where he pulled that Blastoise. You know what I'm saying? No, it was a Venusaur, guys. If people in the chat, it was a first edition Venusaur. It wasn't a Bulbasaur. You know, and I actually have that on. I did that with Alex also. He was someone I did that with iPhone Elite. You know, I sold it to a big Venusaur collector. The guy has every Venusaur in the world. He just didn't have the first edition one, but that was the market price for it. You know, they were at a certain point. If you look at eBay and look at the history, they were going 27, 28, 26, 29 is what they were selling at. And I'll say this, without Logan Paul, that money doesn't come into the hobby, right? It's not that he did anything. It's that he opened the eyes up to people who didn't care, who aren't nostalgic, who don't care, never played these games, don't care about anything, are just in it to make a profit.
Yeah, he brought exposure. He brought exposure
to people that said, "Oh, I can buy this card and then sell it for this." And the truth is, 90% of these people lost money.
Yeah.
Unless they bought it and sold it in time, they lost money, because the truth is, you know, the price corrected. You know, things are correcting. Things aren't the same. I mean, a first edition PSA 10 Charizard will always be that. Me personally, I stick to my words. It's going to be $1 million card one day, right? I'm not saying in the near future, but in the next years to come, eventually that card is $1 million card, right? All he did was bring money into it, where now if you saw a sale for let's say your number was $10,000 for your Shining Charizard. Let's just say, I know probably you love it, you wouldn't sell it, but let's just say in the back of your head, you're like, oh, it's selling for $6,000. Someone offered me $10,000. Shit, I might sell it.
Buy another one.
Big money came in.
Yeah.
And you see one sold for 16. What goes into your head? Shit, that sold for 16. I'm not selling it unless someone gives me 20,000.
Right.
You know, and that's what happened to the hobby. That was the buildup of the hobby. You know, that's exactly how it went. And
but that's so interesting, because it's not even like through a fault of his own, right? Like, it's not like he got on a landline and was like, "Hey, market ruiners, get in." Like, it was more like
he did it because he loves it.
He's got a platform that people watch. He did stuff he liked on it, and that was an exposure at a certain point. It's just kind of this moralless fact of being a celebrity on the internet. It's just like kind of like this, hey, if I talk about ice cream today, some ice cream's going to sell. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I don't know Logan personally, so I can't really speak on his mind, but what I think is, before Logan did the first box break, Pokemon was blowing up.
Yeah.
It was blowing up. I think it was when what was that set called that had the 2 Charizards, the black one and the rainbow one? Champions Path.
Yeah.
Champions Path, I think, is what brought Pokemon back, right? It was a cool set. There was 2 Charizards. A lot of people liked it. So he did this before Champions Path. He did this after Champions Path. So now the thing was, Pokemon was blowing up on the internet, right? Maybe a few months before COVID started. And what I think happened with Logan is I think he's a true lover of Pokemon, and he has money, right? And he was able to buy a first, and people were doing box breaks nonstop on the internet at the time. So it's not like he made this up and came out, people, and he was like, you know what? I could do a first edition box break because I have the money. I'll sell the packs. I'll make a few bucks on it. He was only selling them for $10,000 a pack at that time. What do you get? $360,000 for the box? Right now, that's cheap. Go buy a box right now for $360,000. You can't, right? And let me do what I love, and I think that's why he did it. I mean, he has pull, so in the back of his head, he definitely said to himself, "I'm going to do this, and it's going to blow up even more," which is what happened.
Yeah.
But I think he did it out of his nostalgic love for Pokemon is the reason why he went out and did all that. And like you said, the guy has a Squirtle tattoo on his body. That's been there way before. I mean,
it could have been Scooby-Doo
the day before.
It could have been Scooby-Doo. It could have been Bart Simpson. It could have been Knuckles. It could have been anybody, and it was literally Squirtle. Like, yeah. My whole thing is this. Like, if we take Logan out of the equation, right, and Tom Holland tomorrow on Instagram goes, I just really love 1999 base set. I'm going to open a box on my Instagram. I want to do this thing. Are the same people going to come out and be like, "Oh, he made Pokemon so popular, he ruined it"? It's like,
but the truth is, it doesn't happen. If Tom Holland comes out and does it, it's not the same. You know why? Because it's just not the same. Logan has that cult following of people that not only like him but hate him, right? He has all the haters behind him too. And sometimes, what they say, haters are better than people. For me too. People who don't like me personally, and I don't know why, because I it's just there's a lot of people out there. They have their own reasons. I don't know. Never met them before, but there's a lot of haters out there that, they look at my page more than people who support me. You know, right. And that's the crazy thing. And it's the same thing for Logan. He was able to bring so much light on this from people who didn't even know what Pokemon was. I sold the first edition PSA 10 Charizard to someone who was, first of all, he was calling it Pokemon. And if I tell you, this guy bought it as an investment, he knows nothing about cards. He looked at comps. He looked at what the card is going for. He had someone next to him telling him, and this was at he had someone next to him that was telling him, yeah, it's the first edition Charizard. It's the biggest card. And he literally wired me the money and bought a first edition. You understand what I'm saying?
You're talking about Sasha?
That sale would not happen without Logan Paul. And now, would us as a community be still buying, trading, selling, loving? Yeah, but the community would be way smaller. It wouldn't be, if you count the amount of people that got into it after him.
It's a lot of great people that came in.
It's way more than the people that were doing it before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my whole thing too is, what's the result of that big Pokemon boom? Is Pokemon finally digging their heels in and saying, we're going to print more than ever. We're literally going to flood the market. So the result of that hype was products being cheaper and more, like, if you talk about competitive, because a lot of players were mad. Tier 1 decks are cheaper than they've ever been. I mean, a Tier 1 deck in Pokemon right now, anyone in the chat that's just like, Pokemon's too expensive, a Tier 1 deck, let me know what it is. Get me the Venmo. I will buy you that Tier 1 deck after this stream. I'm dead serious. That is how cheap Tier 1 decks are right now. So if the game is easier to play, it's easier to collect as a result of that popularity boom, how is it ruined? And how are we justifying being mad? That's why, again, I'm not a fan. But if we look at the action-reaction, the result of that popularity, it's cheaper products, more available everywhere.
I also think, pre Logan Paul. Love him or hate him, a lot of people think Logan Paul is cool. Even the people that hate him think he's kind of cool. A lot of the stuff that he does is pretty cool. Before Logan Paul,
Floyd Mayweather, yo, he got in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Can't get cooler than that, and he came out with the Charizard on his neck. I mean,
yeah. So like,
my thing is pretty simple.
There's a lot of people out there that are closeted fans of Pokemon or anime or just nerdy stuff in general, and seeing someone, do a break at that kind of caliber, at that kind of viewership, bringing that kind of exposure, it made Pokemon quote unquote cool.
Or it made it acceptable. It made it okay. It made it okay.
Exactly.
That's a better thing. It made it acceptable. You're right.
Yeah.
And so it just brought a lot of people.
Not to take off the point, this guy is giving away. I don't know if Whatnot's doing it, I don't know what the case is, but whether it's Whatnot or Logan Paul, these guys are giving away a first edition base set Shadowless box, which is phenomenal for the computer. People who would have never had it.
Never.
I wish it was like 15 and under could only win a pack. That would be pretty awesome. Like if 15 years old and under only going to, because.
But at that point, you have parents who are like, "Yeah, you got to get this." It's like it'd be a
no.
Weird
They
situation.
got to rip. No shipped. No, you can't get the pack shipped. You got to have it ripped.
No shipping. Yeah. It's all ripped.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't have the pack shipped. You got to have it ripped on the spot.
No, this is the drill. This is the dream.
Unreal.
I mean, I don't care how aggressive you are. Like, I literally do Fortune 500 marketing campaigns for the whole year. Like, and a budget, right? Let's think about budgets right now. Acquire the box. We'll call it 350,000, even though it's probably more. And then we're on location streaming with Logan Paul. What does he cost? Okay. I mean, the numbers are astronomical. It's beyond feasible, whether you're a billion-dollar company or whatever you are.
Doesn't matter.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime situation happening, and I wish people would drop the Pokemon's expensive thing, because, again, we all talked about it at Retrace, and just appreciate the fact that, like you said, 36 people that probably never would have bought a $10,000 unweighed first ed pack are going to get them ripped and shipped by Logan.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable. It's honestly mind blowing.
Shout out to Whatnot. I think that you know what, John. I think John's the only person. Ever since the first time I met him, the guy is just so humble. You would never know. And
Agreed.
He's vintage. Have you seen his car? John is a straight vintage, amazing guy. Like, he's so cool and just out there, and he just it's like a 100-year-old man is stuck in this guy's body, because he's just so giving, and he just wants. Every conversation I've had with him, I've sold him a lot. I've sold him a bunch of product, and he's just such an easiest person to do business with. Also, if he wants it, he wants it. He doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. And I mean, phenomenal guy who's doing phenomenal things. I mean, he deserves what Whatnot has become, because he put his whole life into it. And I was at the Whatnot headquarters, and it's just like so cool, and the people who work there are all just, you could tell when you walk into somewhere. I work for a big company as well, so I know, when you walk into there, you just see the people and everyone's happy. It's just the guy did a great job. He deserves everything that's coming to him, and look how he gives back. It's a lot of money. Forget about that. Tomorrow they're giving out a triangle. They're giving out 36 triangle packs tomorrow.
That's what I mean. Like there's this point where they go, Logan's giving it away because it's a tax write-off, and obviously we as people that understand tax write-offs go, that's not how life. That's not how life works.
That's not how it works.
Unless you want an audit. But it's like, okay, if you could choose any path to a tax write-off for a celebrity,
I don't think that's considered a donation.
This guy, I have my friends, right? They buy a house in Palm Desert in 2020. They make 1.7 in like 16 months. that is the best investment you will ever make. Just go buy some houses, Logan. You know, if you want the investment, if it's about the money, if it's about the
It's
tax
not.
write-off, get into. He would have bought houses everywhere. He would have bought Tesla stock. He would have bought all this stuff. And guess what? It wouldn't have come with him giving 36 people Tesla stock or giving 36 people some rooms in the mansion. This is ridiculous what he's doing. It's honestly
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
I mean, even if you look at it from another perspective, and I'll tell you guys straight up, if you guys watch his podcasts, because I do, I watch
those are funny as hell.
His friends all make fun of him for doing what he does in Pokemon, and if that's not enough proof, like he has his partners, his friends, like, what the fuck are you buying? You know, and you could tell that it's genuine. They're not like before it blew up. If you watch his video to the come up of the first box, they think he's crazy. They think he's crazy. And you know what? He's doing it. And like you said, there's so many other ways for someone like him to make money.
So much
forget
money.
about real estate and things like that. The guy is a massive guy. There's so many ways. The guy is doing it because he loves it. And if anyone who doesn't believe that is just crazy. You know what I mean?
The idea that, you know, his $1 billion scheme is to buy some first edition shadowless boxes. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite idea ever. It's just dude.
He bought that case because he wants to be the only person in the world who has a sealed BBCE wrapped case of first edition Pokemon boxes. That's why he got that case. Not for any other reason.
Yeah.
Even in that video with him and Mike, he's like, "This is the only box, right?" And then Mike's like, "Yes, this is the only one out there."
Shine. Yeah. Shine was like, until somebody else, and this is what I told him too when I sold it to him. He looked at me and he's like, "Are you sure this is the only one?" We were at the table. The box was there. Laptop to send the money is right there. And he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, Jacob, is this the only one in the world?" And I looked at him and I said, "Shine, until somebody else comes out and shows me another one, this is the only one." Right? Now, I guarantee you, after this massive sale that just happened, if anyone else had one, we would know. We would know before PokeTT. We would know because now we're talking generational life-changing money. $3.5 million. If you're just not a stupid spender, right, is generational life-changing money. Yeah. It literally is. You know, it's a lot of money. It's generational. Like you're changing your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids. You make the right investments, you do the right things. The whole path of your lifeline is completely different with $3.5 million. So if there was another one, someone would come out and show it. And like Shivam said, we know what's his name? Come on, Shivam, help me out here. He opened up his box, all right? He opened up the case.
Oh,
Gary.
Going twice.
We know Gary.
Gary.
Come on, we all know Gary.
Yeah.
He loves showing off. He loves showing his stuff because he loves it too.
Absolutely.
Gary loves this stuff. He fucking loves. I'm sorry for my language. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
He loves Pokemon. He loves it. He is a fanatic, right?
Mm-hmm.
He loves showing off what he has. If he had it, we would know. We would have known when I made the sale.
You know, that's a really interesting point you just made, because I feel like the moment things get past a certain price threshold, people begin to behave as though you can't love it. Like, no one ever questions if Jay Leno loves his really expensive cars. No one does. But the second Gary sells a Charizard or has multiple Charizards that are worth a quarter, people go, he must not love it. He must be in it for money. Why don't we do the same thing with Jay Leno's cars? Pokemon invites the weirdest criticisms that you just don't see in other areas of collection. It's so strange.
It's like when people call
even like I said, you know, I have them. If I wanted to sell them, I could sell them. Money to me is a very important thing in life. You know, as much as it is. You know, I have a lifestyle that I want to live, and I have things that I want. I have cars that I like. If it wasn't so important to me, I would be right now. I think right now Pokemon is about to go back up. We're about to get a little bit of
Uptick.
It's gonna first edition card. We saw it in PWCC before Logan's announcement. Just sold for 288,000. There's no one on the planet that thought that card was going to sell for more than 220. At least I didn't, and I'm still happy with it at that price. But it just sold for 288. The next one we see sell is going to be 300 plus, and it's just that's what it's going to be, because the people who are buying them now aren't going to sell it for less than they bought it for.
No.
When you see someone make a sale for like 200, 220, that guy had that card for a very long time. You know, investors who paid 280, 300,000 for the card aren't people who don't have money. So they're not going to go out and sell it now for 220, 210. These cards are running out. Even though the pop is like 220, they're running out. And the people who have them aren't going to let them go for less than what they paid. These cards are only, you know, the big ticket cards are only going to go up. The Lugia PSA 10 is, go find one.
I always say that
one guy owns 5 out of the 44 for PSA 10s, and then for the unlimited he owns half. That's Beta Poke
I have
Traders.
one.
That dude.
I have one. But anyway,
yeah,
go find someone that's what I will not sell it, no matter what. Like, I'm not selling it. There's no chance, and I guarantee you, the guy who has 5 is not selling it, and the other 39 are collectors. There's no one who has a PSA 10 Lugia that's not, and I use that card because Lugia is a collector card, is a card
1,000%.
that if you only love Pokemon, you're gonna go after the Lugia, right? Yeah. It's a collector's piece. Card. Go find someone that's willing to sell it. You're not gonna find it.
I always say it's like there's the population.
No shot Murph is ever selling that card. He loses his Lugia King account. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
There's the population, and then there's the functional population, right? Like 220 sounds like a lot of PSA 10s, but at the end of the day, if 99% of these guys just bought them yesterday, you're not going to find one. And it's just like that with that PSA 10 Lugia. And the guy that can buy a $250,000 card likely isn't going to need to sell it for any other reason than he doubled or tripled. So yeah, it's a really interesting situation with the highest end of Pokemon cards right now.
And that was my mentality on telling people. I got killed because when I sold him when I sold Shine the case, we recorded everything, and I was caught on record saying and telling him, Shine, I guarantee you one day this is going to be $1 million card. And people bashed me for it. And I stand by it. And I'll say why. It's because the people who are buying these first edition PSA 10s are not going to let these cards go. And eventually, if I had one left, now I'm going to have to say 2, because if I had one left, I would never sell it. But if I had 2 left, I'm probably not selling that card until I get a massive premium, because to me, I don't need to sell it. That's number one. And number 2, it doesn't make sense for me to sell it at a lesser price, right? Someone just bought one for 288. The next one's going to be 350. And now that the cost of a box is at 430 was the last box sold. Now, what does that put the PSA 10 at? I mean, I guarantee you we could open up 10 boxes right now and take all the Charizards that we pull from all 10 boxes.
Yeah.
And we'd be lucky to get one PSA 10.
Yeah.
So now if that sealed box is selling for 433, how the hell is the card not selling for 433? Because the chase card you're more than likely not going to get one out of the box. You know, and that was my explanation to him. I was like, listen, you know, the card should be worth more than the box, and look at what the cards are selling for compared to what the box is. That's why it's a good deal to buy this box, because in this one situation, the box costs more than the card. In sports, it's not like that. In sports, the card costs more than the box. Like the chase card is going to cost in a PSA 10 more money than the box is going to cost, right? Like, for example, look what just happened. The Zion logo man was just pulled, right? You could have opened up that box for like $15,000, for not even less. You know, like, you know what? We could say around 15 grand, right? You could have opened up that box. I personally put an offer in to buy that card for $1.2 million and got denied.
Wow.
I personally, through somebody who knew the person who opened up I put an offer in of $1.2 million. And if I tell you, the no was instant. As soon as I said 1.2, he was like, sorry, no. There's already offers higher than yours. And I was like, shit, I thought I'm coming in strong at that number. And I got shut down quick. And I was like, you know what? I can't afford it. It's not worth it for me to pay more than that. That was like my absolute highest. I said $1 million, no. And then I said, you know what? I could do 1.2, and it was no. And I was like, shit, I'm not getting this card. I'm never going to own it. Now, with Pokemon, it's way different. The box is going for 433. The card's going for 288, and you're not going to get the card out of the box. You're more than likely you're not going to get a PSA 10 Charizard out of the box. It's just probably not going to happen. That's why the only time you're seeing these boxes getting opened up is through these big box breaks, right? Like me, I wouldn't sit back and say, you know what? Let me open up one of my first edition boxes today. I'm feeling lucky. Pull a Charizard. You instantly lose money.
No,
Yeah,
in Vegas,
you're out.
In Vegas, there wasn't a Charizard in it, and then when PokeRev did his box break back in 2020, he didn't pull a Charizard either.
Rev.
And just now, the German guys, they just did a box break. There was no Charizard in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Rev was the worst.
Back to the main point, man.
Yeah.
Freaking Whatnot, man. Hands down to Whatnot. These guys giving away first edition for Christmas Day. It's like, it's going to be Christmas Day, and I'm going to be watching. I mean, who's not, right?
1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, I would not be surprised if there's 1 million people. The app is going to break. I hope they got a lot of servers ready.
That's the other meta of this play, is that they are doing this on the one day of the year everyone's guaranteed to be home on their phone.
That's right.
It's like, this is honestly like Pokemon Super Bowl. Like, it's just ludicrous. Perfect. Like 40 underwater jets. Well.
This was my background is marketing as well. I work for a Fortune 500 market company. This is the play. Like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no better. This was it. It's Christmas Day. Everyone's home. Everyone's on their phone, right? And you're either watching the basketball games or you're watching Pokemon this year.
Right.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
No, it's shocking how epic this is going to be. And look, no matter how much Whatnot or Logan benefits from the exposure or from the tax write-offs,
they're giving away $433,000. I don't care what anyone has to say.
They are still giving away 36 first ed packs to random people, which is it is mind-blowing to me.
Mind-blowing. How
cool. Like, I'm like entering in. Like, I'm out here like trying to get one of these packs.
I mean, I'm already trying to bookmark this right now.
It's crazy. 36 packs is nuts. Well, you know what?
It's so funny.
There's one person that could do it, and it's John. You know, he's the one person who has a heart and a mind to put something like that together. I don't, like I said, there's certain individuals in the world that we live in that are just that guy. You know, as I was talking about Shine, his ability to structure things and put things in the right place. You know, John from Whatnot, able to grow this massive thing, you know, and then to give back like that. As much as people, as you said, tax write-off, that doesn't matter. That box costs $450,000 right now, and you're giving it away for free. Are they also selling packs at the same time, or is this just like extravaganza giveaway?
Just straight up giveaway.
I mean, I think this is just straight up. Everyone tune in. You're getting a $7,000 to $10,000, $15,000 unweighed pack today. Unbelievable. You know,
Nuts.
it's funny. It's funny too because John is so young. Like he's this, just this, and he's like, you need to be as laid back as John is to be as crazy as he is to do this. It's the weirdest thing ever to attack this way. It's so cool.
Yeah, I had a meeting with him because I wanted him to be the main sponsor of. I flew out to California to meet with him because Whatnot. So my convention, Collectors Con, is sponsored by Whatnot, and me and him had a close connection. You know, we were friends. We talked on the phone a lot, and I saw Whatnot becoming what it is, and I knew that if I put the word Whatnot in my convention, you know, from a marketing standpoint, I'm going to get a lot of people to come to the show. It has nothing to do with anything. So that's when we met in person before that as well. But we sat down. We had he took me to this juice place. I had some juice, and then he showed me his car. And as soon as I saw his car, I was like, "There's no other perfect car in the world for you. This is you, man." Like he drives like that old school top down Mercedes, and it's just like I looked at it and I looked at him and I was like, it doesn't surprise me one bit. This is you. This is who you are. You know, he's nostalgic too. Like he's into that vintage culture, and that's him. And besides for that, sweetheart of a guy, and look what he's doing for the Pokemon community. I mean, that's what Whatnot was built on before all the sports people came onto it.
Yeah,
right? It was Pokemon. It was Pops, which I'm, you know, a huge. I have a crazy Pops collection. I'll run through it afterwards with you guys. And I love Batman, so most of my Pops are Batman and Chucky. Chucky and Batman are my two guys. I mean, it's crazy, you know. There's no one else in the world giving away a first edition box
Ever.
of any sort. Forget base set of anything. It's just not. And then not only that, to put a cherry on top, we're giving away triangle packs tomorrow. It's just insane.
Yeah, I'm ready for that too.
No, I mean, let's wrap our heads around this. Okay, let's estimate the first ed box is $450. Black triangle, let's put that at $35, $45, $50.
At least. Yeah.
The MSRP box that we did, which they made $4 times 36.
That's another 15,000.
That's another 15,000. I mean, so we're talking about over $500,000 in stuff.
And that's not the only giveaways they did in 2021. They did a lot of other giveaways. Forget about that. What about when they're at every convention? You know how much they're giving away? When they were at the National, they did that ice cream with the golden ticket giveaway. You know, Whatnot gives back to the community. I don't care what anyone says. Whatnot gives back to the community.
Agreed.
For sure.
I mean, shoot, Craig brought me dinner in Tampa.
Oh man. Yeah, no, and that's another thing. If you go out to dinner or drinks with the Whatnot guys, same thing. Like they take care of it, and they're like, you know, 100%. The company told us to do this for everybody. That's another thing. You know, it's they give back, and that's what I love about them. And I connected them with a lot of my people that were breaking on Instagram and just putting them in a group chat with John. And I'm like, John, this is, and same thing with Millie Pops. Even Millie Pops wouldn't even know who Whatnot is without me making that connection to them. Some people forget.
So wild.
Yeah. So what else, Shivam? What else we got?
That's pretty much it. I guess we can sort of start wrapping this up. I mean, this is up there as one of the, I'd say probably top 10 most longest podcasts. You know, I think Alex is still up there in top 3 for one of the most longest podcasts.
Fun. I had such a good time, man. Just kicking it with you and chatting it up. I missed you at the show. Usually we'll be goofing around the whole time. We'd be goofing around, joking around. Yeah. We weren't able to do that, but next time for sure we'll be on there. Collectors Con 2023, guys. 2022. Fuck, I'm shooting a section. Collectors Con 2022 is going to be a movie. We're hoping to do 3 dates in 2022, and hopefully this COVID thing goes down a little bit, so that way we could bring some amazing people. You know, we're hoping for Marvel characters to come do signings, and we have a lot of huge plans coming for next year. Just we need everybody stay home for like 1 month. Don't leave your house. let this COVID thing die out and let's get back to life.
Get them boosters,
Thank you so much
guys.
for having me on. I had so much fun. Really, it was a
Thank
blast.
Thank you. So before we sign off, CardKahuna, Jacob, I'm gonna tell you how we sign off. So we always sign off the same way. We like to get our teacups out. We sips up, deuces, and we salute and we say we're out.
Oh, let me get a teacup.
Oh, you don't have to have a teacup.
Yo,
right.
shit.
I thought I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was about to call my wife and say, "Hey, I need a cup of tea."
I think Alex went to go get.
I'm gonna get a quick drop. So, with Leonhardt, we are raising money for NAMI this month. And to enter in to win this base set 2-pack, you're going to pack battle base set 2 cards with me. Mm-hmm. And I will be announcing on Christmas Day, which I announced way before Logan. They clearly copied me. All you have to do is go to the link in my Instagram bio, donate any amounts to NAMI.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you on Instagram after it's done. I'll shoot a donation your way. For sure.
Seriously, thank you so much. You'll be entered in to win. And we only have 5 or 6 people that donated so far, which means there is better than a 1 in 10 chance of getting this base set 2-pack and battling with me. So if you donate $1, if you donate $2, you are entered. It doesn't have to be a big amount. So just donate to this
valuable cause. I'll repost you on my story as soon as we're done as well.
Bro, thank you so much.
We'll try to get people to donate. For Manny, right?
Yeah. Oh, and because of where you remind me, I'm doing the same thing. Leonhardt sent me a pack. You guys already know the deal.
Go.
The link is in the bio. We already have. I think we're at $1,070 so far. Kenley put about Pokemon Network. Shout out to Pokemon Network. Put about $3,000. Yeah, he put about $3,000 worth of Pokemon product for all of this. Wow. You just got to put any amount in, and you have your chance to get into it. You get the pack. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Just to quickly, because I forgot about it, to talk about our sponsors. Myself and Yizzy Pokemon were sponsored by TCG Stadium. TCG Stadium is a local card shop it's an online card shop right now in Nashville. They specialize in Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to go there, Jimmy's son will take care of you. Then we have Ken Lee, the Pokemon Network. He basically has everything from the most affordable stuff to the most expensive stuff.
We have good people in the hobby, man. We got good people. Ken Lee is one of my close friends as well.
He's a G.
You know what I mean? He's a G.
yeah, he's a G. That man is a character. He'll call me up random times, and it's like, man, this dude will talk your ear off. He calls me more than I call Yizzy, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I love him too, man. I love him too. We had some fun dinners together.
Yeah, he's a character. And then finally, we don't have the actual PNG up for Double Infinity Gaming, but Double Infinity Gaming is a local card shop. They're online card shop right now, based in Florida. Julie and Will, they're really, really nice people. Sweet as they can be. I mean, myself and Yizzy, we pride ourselves in, like, you know, our circle is basically people that are good people. Just like Jacob, Alex, so on and so forth. Like we surround ourselves with the right kind of people. And you know, they're just beautiful souls. So make sure you go follow Julie from Double Infinity Gaming, Double Infinity TCG on Instagram, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So just to go ahead and sign us off, we're gonna do this on 3. And now, do you guys have anything else to say? To add?
Not really, but
great talking to you, dude. You're a legend, and I can't wait till the Long Beach Collecticon. I've been meaning to make it out, but I just kept getting interrupted by life because we were having a son this year. Things got crazy, so I couldn't make it out to any of the.
Congratulations, man! Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I meant to make it out to the Texas days, but you know what? We'll do it this year.
Absolutely.
All right, for sure. We'd love to have you.
Make sure for those guys who are in the chat right now, make sure you follow Alex Ketchum, aka Alex Hodges. Alex Hodges on TikTok, Alex Ketchum on Instagram, and make sure you follow him on YouTube. He has a lot of big stuff coming up. You know, I'm gonna hold him a little bit accountable this year. Be like, Alex,
we cracked 1,000 subs, baby. We're getting there.
We're getting there. And honestly, I think this podcast episode is gonna blow up. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna blow up. There's so much juicy stuff that people are sleeping on right now. It's not even funny. But let's go ahead and sign off. We're gonna sips up, deuces, and we're out. See you later, guys. Catch you on the flip side.
Later, man.
Cheese.